Two lives, two choices. Lessons from the Charlie Kirk and Tyler Robinson incident. Utah Valley University, an ordinary afternoon. Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, a famous conservative political activist, was preparing for his speech before hundreds of students. No one knew that on a rooftop several hundred meters away, Tyler James Robinson, 2 years old, was aiming through a rifle scope with a bullet engraved with the words, "Fascist Slayer." A gunshot rang out. Charlie Kirk fell, blood flowing from his neck. Tyler Robinson, after 33 hours on the run, finally surrendered when his own father recognized him in the FBI's wanted photos and convinced him to confess. But the real story began many years earlier. A story about how two people of the same generation could go in completely opposite directions. Charlie Kirk. Character analysis. Charlie Kirk was born in 1993, growing up in a middle-class family in Illinois. From high school, Charlie had already shown his passion for politics and debate. Instead of choosing the traditional college path, he decided to pursue his dream of creating political influence by founding Turning Point USA in 2012, when he was just 18 years old. What's notable about Charlie Kirk is how he built his career, through words, debate, and persuasion. Although his political views were controversial, Charlie's methods were always dialogue, public discussion, and utilizing legitimate media platforms. Under Charlie's leadership, Turning Point USA grew into one of the largest conservative student organizations in America, with thousands of chapters at universities. Charlie not only built his career, but also created job opportunities for thousands of young people. When we look at Charlie Kirk's journey, we see a person who chose to express his views through constructive means, through persuasion with reasoning, even though those arguments might be controversial. Tyler Robinson character analysis. Tyler James Robinson, 22 years old, was also a highly educated young man. He had attended college but dropped out. Tyler's family were Mormons belonging to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a religion that emphasizes family values and peace. However, according to revealed information, Tyler had developed political views completely opposite to his family's. He became extremist in his thinking, viewing people with conservative views like Charlie Kirk as fascists who needed to be eliminated. The most frightening thing about Tyler wasn't his political views, but how he chose to express those views. Instead of participating in public debates, instead of writing blogs, or engaging in legal political activities, Tyler chose the path of violence. His engraving of "Fascist Slayer" on the bullet showed this wasn't an impulsive act, but a carefully planned scheme. Tyler had transformed himself from an ordinary student into a premeditated killer. After committing the crime, Tyler even exchanged messages on Discord with friends, mocking the FBI's wanted images, showing he had no remorse whatsoever for his actions. Comparing two lives, when we place these two lives side by side, we see a stark contrast. Background, both came from middle class families, had good educational opportunities, weren't victims of difficult circumstances. Mindset. Charlie Kirk chose construction, creating organizations, providing jobs, influencing society through education and persuasion. Tyler Robinson chose destruction, using violence to solve people with different viewpoints. Methods. Charlie used words, debate, community building. Tyler used guns and bullets, assassination plots, violence. Impact. Charlie created thousands of job opportunities, encouraged millions of young people to participate in politics. Tyler destroyed his own life and his family's, taking away another person's life. The most thought-provoking aspect is that both were the same age. Both lived in the social media era, but chose completely opposite paths. The role of family. Family played a crucial role in this story. Tyler Robinson's father, after seeing the FBI's wanted photos, recognized his son and convinced him to surrender. This was a painful but correct action by a father. However, this also raises questions. Why didn't Tyler's family discover the dangerous signs earlier? Tyler's preparation of guns and ammunition, planning an assassination, couldn't have happened overnight. What were the warning signs the family overlooked? Conversely, Charlie Kirk's family had nurtured in him a constructive spirit, encouraging him to pursue his dreams through legal and positive means. This doesn't mean blaming Tyler's family, as adults must take responsibility for their actions. But it reminds us of the importance of character education, morality, and teaching peaceful conflict resolution. Social media influence. An important factor that cannot be ignored in this story is the influence of social media and internet culture. Tyler Robinson lived in a virtual world where engraving fascist Slayer on a bullet was considered a meme, where mocking the FBI on Discord was considered a joke. The line between reality and fantasy had become blurred. Tyler might have believed he was completing a quest in a game, becoming a hero in a fictional story. The reality is, he killed a real person, destroyed his real life and his family's real life. Conversely, Charlie Kirk used social media as a tool for construction, to connect with millions of young people, to spread ideas he believed in. Despite controversy, Charlie always maintained clear boundaries between the virtual and real worlds. This reminds us of our responsibility when using social media, about teaching our children to distinguish between reality and fantasy, between joking and reality. Biblical warnings. The Bible warned about these dangers thousands of years ago. In Exodus 20:13, God issued a clear commandment. You shall not murder. This is not just a legal rule, but a fundamental moral principle of humanity. Proverbs 22:6 teaches, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. This emphasizes the importance of education from childhood, not just about knowledge, but also about character and morality. In 1 John 3:15, the Bible warns, anyone who hates a brother or sister is a murderer. Tyler Robinson began by hating people with different viewpoints and eventually became an actual murderer. Matthew 5:44 teaches us key, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Instead of hatred, Jesus calls us to love and pray for even those with opposing views. These teachings are not just religious theory, but practical life principles. If Tyler Robinson had been taught according to these principles, perhaps the tragedy wouldn't have occurred. Lessons for society. From this story, we can draw important lessons. First, differences of opinion are normal and necessary in a democratic society. But we must learn to express views through dialogue and civilized debate, not violence. Second, family plays a decisive role in shaping human character. We must teach our children not just knowledge, but also emotional control, conflict resolution, and respect for life. Third, social media is a double-edged sword. It can be used for construction and connection, but can also turn people into dangerous extremists. We need education about responsible social media use. Fourth, the power of surrounding environment cannot be denied. We need to create environments that encourage construction, creativity, and peace. Fifth, each individual must take responsibility for their choices. No circumstances can justify murder. Conclusion. Today, Charlie Kirk has gone to be with God. He breathed his last at the hospital after fighting death for many hours. Millions of people across America are praying for Charlie Kirk's soul, praying for his family to have strength to overcome this tremendous loss. Charlie Kirk, at age 31, left this world not because of illness or accident, but because of a young person's hatred. He left behind a legacy of encouraging young people to participate in politics, of building rather than destroying. Tyler Robinson sits in prison, facing the death penalty. While Charlie Kirk's family grieves the loss of their son and brother, Tyler's family is also shattered by their child's actions. 2 lives, 2 choices. One person chose to build and paid the price with his life. One person chose to destroy and lost his freedom and future. One person left a positive legacy for millions of young people. One person left pain for 2 families. Charlie Kirk's death is not just the loss of an individual, but the loss of society. He proved that one can have strong opinions while still building, can debate fiercely while remaining civilized. This story reminds us that in today's divided world, we need more than ever to return to basic values: love, forgiveness, dialogue, and respect for life. Because ultimately, how we choose to respond to people with different viewpoints will shape not only our lives, but also the future of society. Charlie Kirk has departed, but the lessons from his life will live on. Remember, words can heal, but they can also kill. Choose words that heal because we never know what tomorrow will bring.